Greetings fellow Tarnished, I'm StoneBear13, and this Weapons for New Tarnished video will be all about dexterity. As with my last video, all of these weapons will be obtainable immediately after getting Torrent from Melina, and each will require very little if any combat to obtain. So if this video helps you out, don't forget to leave a like or a comment, and maybe even subscribe to support the channel. Let's dive into some awesome early game weapons for builds based around dexterity. Dexterity builds utilize some of the flashiest and fastest armaments available, often paired with status effect buildup. It's also very common for the more dexterity-based weapon types to have some extra techniques or attacks that usually require a little extra use to gain some insight on, making them extremely versatile. Our first weapon is one you've probably seen in many videos before, the Bloodhound's Fang. This curved greatsword will require 18 strength and 17 dexterity to wield, and if you started with the samurai class, you'll need just 2 points in dexterity in order to two-hand this weapon. Coming with a baseline 55 blood loss buildup on hit, the Bloodhound's Fang has the default curved greatsword moveset, but is able to be buffed by magic and weapon greases. This is a pretty unique situation, as most weapons with lock skills aren't buffable by any weapon enhancements. Magic buffs aside, the utility with greases alone makes this a fantastic pickup. Beyond their ability to add bonus damage to fit your needs, certain greases will also allow the Bloodhound's Fang to trigger any other status effect buildup in tandem with its blood loss on hit. This weapon has some good reach and solid damage, scaling best when points are put into both dexterity and strength. I'd be lying if I didn't say a major attraction to this weapon is its unique weapon skill, Bloodhound's Finesse. This two-part skill will cost 8 FP initially to slash and backflip away from your opponent, creating a good amount of space. The follow-up input will cost 12 FP to dash forward, going briefly immune and slash upward, essentially returning to the same spot you disengaged from. Both parts of this skill have amazing utility and allow for some very flashy dodges in cinematic gameplay. The poise damage this weapon deals is also pretty solid, requiring only a few heavy attacks or skill uses to stance break even the largest enemies. If you're looking for a long-range flexible option with the ability to execute flashy evasions and afflict status effects, the Bloodhound's Fang is a great pick. This curved greatsword can be found right in Limgrave, just across Aegil Lake. From the first step site of Grace, we'll hop on Torrent and cross the lake east, following its shoreline, turning southeast beyond the giant crab playing in the pond. Up on the ledge, we'll grab the Aegil Lake south side of Grace. Mounting Torrent, we'll go south up the hill towards the lookout stones, and at the center of them, we can find an Everjail. This is one of many found throughout the lands between, and the boss found within is Bloodhound Knight Darawil. If you do happen to die here, don't worry about grabbing your runes, as they'll appear outside the Everjail in the overworld. But if you choose the Samurai starting class, this will be a relatively easy boss fight. Just two-hand your Uchigatana, use one unsheath heavy attack, one jumping heavy attack, and finish with one more unsheath heavy to stance break, and delete half his health pool at base level. Once you manage to defeat Darawil, he'll drop the Bloodhound's Fang. Our second weapon focusing on dexterity will be the Icerind Hatchet. This axe will require 11 strength and 16 dexterity, and if you chose the samurai class, you'll only need 1 level invested into dexterity in order to wield. This powerful armament is also one of the handful of weapons available that passively inflicts frostbite buildup with every hit, at a base rate of 65 per strike. For my new Tarnished, frostbite is a status effect that once triggered deals a large portion of damage to your enemy and debuffs them for 30 seconds, increasing all damage taken by 20%. Some players choose to also run a fire damage option when utilizing frostbite, since fire will reset the debuff and allow it to proc repeatedly and chunk down health bars. As for the weapon itself, it's in the middle of the pack for range within its archetype, but it does use a semi-unique moveset shared with the hand axe. Each attack is noticeably faster than most other axes, and allows you to easily proc frostbite and talismans related to successive strikes. Since this weapon is so light though, it doesn't deal any notable poise damage, relying more on its ability to proc frostbite and increase damage taken. Although it isn't stated anywhere, this weapon will also deal an increased 20% damage against dragons, and 10% extra damage when facing ancient dragons. As for its weapon skill, it'll be locked to Hoarfrost Stomp. Costing 10 FP, you'll send a wave out from your foot dealing 70 frostbite buildup on the initial hit, and 110 buildup after the ice crystals explode. This skill deals very little damage, but it has the benefits of a low FP cost, affecting a large area, and the potential to debuff whole groups at a time. The Icerind Hatchet can definitely carry you into the endgame, but by no means is it the highest damage option for a dexterity build. However, in terms of a first playthrough weapon that has potential, this definitely deserves a try and will find good use for any Tarnished looking for an aggressive, fast-paced build. This lightweight axe will be found in Liurnia of the Lakes. This time, we'll start from the gatefront side of Grace and head west through the Storm Gate, making sure to dash beyond the falling giants so you aren't squished. Keep following the road through Stormhill until the Wolf Tornado hits, and you reach the Stormhill Shack. Jump up on the ledge nearby and grab the Grace, then hop back on Torrent and head north, off the road and through the large arch ahead. Beyond the trees, we'll come to a weathered road and a broken bridge. Following it to the end, we can travel down the rubble to the west and continue on the side path through the cliffs. This path is rather linear, winding around the cliff that holds Stormvale Castle, and it has a few wolves scattered about, so just keep moving and keep an eye out for sharp turns. Once you pass the castle walls on your left, turn west to follow a path leading to Liurnia of the Lakes, and pick up the lake-facing cliffs side of Grace. It is worth noting that if you rest at any Grace within Liurnia, it will trigger Melina's invitation to the Round Table Hold, so if you do choose to head there, just fast travel back once you're all set and continue following along. Continue on the path beside the Grace, going between the graveyards, and beyond the barricaded encampment, to find the Liurnia Lakeshore site of Grace nearby a nomadic merchant. From here, our path is pretty simple. Run north through the ruins until you can turn northwest, then just head in that direction and don't stop running. This is a bit of a trip since we're running about halfway across the map, but just keep on to the northwest and dash whenever you think something's a bit too close. There are a few Graces you'll see me pass along the way, and feel free to grab those if you wish, as it can make your trip a bit easier if you do happen to get caught by something. We'll be going beyond the Rose Church for those familiar with Vara's quest, and through the trees, turning westward towards the ruins ahead. Here, we'll aim for the steeple to the west behind the very healthy tree. Entering the temple quarter, we can dismount Torrent at the ruined tower to find a chest containing the Icerind Hatchet. As for my final weapon, some of you may be a bit surprised to hear it's the Uchigatana. Requiring 11 strength and 15 dexterity, this comes with an innate bleed buildup of 45 per hit. If you started with the Samurai class, you'll already be able to wield this, and it will be your second, allowing you to power stance them immediately without the need for New Game Plus. Just for the sole fact that you can instantly wield 2 of these earns it the right to be mentioned for a new player dexterity build, as power stance katanas are truly something special. Aside from potentially doubling the rate of bleed buildup, the moveset is pure deadly rhythm. The best rate of buildup definitely comes from utilizing rolling attacks and jump attacks, both of which allow your katanas to hit in unison. A dodge attack will execute a scissor-style strike, and the jump attack will bring both Uchigatanas down for a powerful blow. You also have the option to use the default weapon skill, Unsheath. After activating this skill and while holding the button down, inputting either a light or a heavy attack will initiate a lightning-fast horizontal or vertical strike. The light attack input will cost 10 FP and strike anything within a good range in front of you. And the heavy attack will cost 15 FP, hitting really hard and dealing some decent poise damage, allowing you to quickly stance break foes. Moveset and bleed buildup aside, these katanas can also be customized with Ashes of War, allowing you to change their attribute scaling and skills to match whatever playstyle you prefer. To grab the Uchigatana for yourself, we won't even have to leave Limgrave. Starting from the gatefront side of Grace, take the road west, dashing beyond the Falling Giant and Crossbowman. Passing through the barricades and running out of the chasm, you'll enter Stormhill and be greeted with a wolf tornado. Ignore the doggos and jump up the rocks to your right to grab the Stormhill Shack Site of Grace and remount Torrent to continue on. Find the dirt path and follow it northeast, beyond the Kaiden Sellswords, and within the woods to the right, you'll find the Warmaster's Shack Site of Grace. From this Grace, keep to the road and follow it through the alarmed camp of Godric Knights and Dogs. Once you start heading downhill, stay to the left and go up the nearby rocks. Stick close to the cliffside to find a door leading to the death-touched catacombs, and inside, we can grab our katana with very little effort. Within the first room, drop down and turn around to find a small hallway on the left of the understair chamber. Within the room on the other side, you'll find another door to the left which leads directly to a ledge. On said ledge will be a corpse holding the Uchigatana. With that, we've covered my top few early game weapons for new Tarnished using dexterity builds that can carry you into the endgame. Oh, and since I'm sure I'm going to see in the comments how criminal it was that I didn't include the Nagakiba for dexterity builds, I'm sorry, but I just don't think advising new players to shut down a questline filled with lore and more loot just to get a very strong katana that they can receive later on anyways is good advice, regardless of the weapon's utility and range. But anyways, I hope this helps you guys out, and if it did, please leave a like or a comment, and be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all my Elden Ring content. As always, I'm StoneBear13, and thank you for watching.